What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the PlayStation Plus podcast, episode 7. With me today, we have Zod Ryder, and Mag Max is asleep somewhere. We don't know where he is.
He's getting his mask. He's getting his mask on. You know that takes a while.
Yeah, so we're waiting on that right now. But welcome back, guys. So let's see. Oh, we got Akansha. Yes. Yep. Matt Love. Yep. I take all the love. Thank you very much for that. All righty. So let's get into it. So what have you been up to, Zod? What's been going on? What games have you been playing recently?
Man, I haven't really been playing a whole lot of games aside from Mortal Kombat. It's all about Mortal Kombat 11 for me right now, and the Mortal Kombat Mugen games. I don't know if you're familiar.
Nice. What is that?
Which Mugen is basically where they took all the sprites and stuff from all the Mortal Kombat fighting games, and they basically throw them together and create brand new games. So basically you can have, like, for example, Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat 1 fight Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat Trilogy.
Oh, that's cool.
And you can, and it's fantastic. It is one of the most, it's like a whole movement where they've created, and it's basically a PC game. So they basically take Mortal Kombat. I mean, they throw in all kinds of backgrounds and graphics from other games and stuff. One thing I found on this one version of it that I played, which was called Mortal Kombat Project Revitalized, and there's a background where it's the Death Star. You see the Death Star in the background, and then you're fighting on this pit area. Oh my god, it's fantastic! It's so much fun.
I've always wanted that for some games, where you just merge them all together. I always felt like for the Battlefront series, for instance, they should have just made it one game. There's no point in making Battlefront 1 or Battlefront 2.
100%. I mean, honestly, a lot of these games, in particular, when you look at sports games and stuff, it's like every year for a sports game, all you get is essentially just a roster update and some incremental little changes to the game itself. Some stuff from the presentation, or where there's very little actual difference between that version of the game and the previous version that you bought the previous year.
I definitely feel like a lot of games would have, longer lifespan at least.
If
they actually did that. And there'd be so much more content.
I like when they do. And I'm one of those people. I am not a big fan of the loot boxes and that kind of stuff. But I do like when they do season passes. Because that extends the life of the game. You add new characters, you add new levels, you add new story chapters and things, and that creates more content for us to enjoy as gamers. So personally, I'm okay with that, but just don't charge me as much as you would for a brand new brand new game.
Well, while we're talking about that, we might as well talk about this. I would love for this to happen. I don't know why it has not happened yet. Star Wars: The Mandalorian video game. Were you your own Mandalorian character, and you're living? Oh my goodness!
I have a feeling we're gonna get that. It
better happen soon. I swear, because I don't know, it's been in my head a lot recently, because the series is kind of like a video game. It's exactly like a video game with the main quest, side missions.
And you know what it reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, exactly.
In space. Yeah. So you basically could do that kind of a style, and it does have the whole Western motif. With the idea of being on desert planets like Tatooine or whatever, and the concept of the game is he could just go from level to level, doing bounty to bounty to collect, and ultimately in the process saving the child.
Yeah.
So we as gamers, we could sit here and look at The Mandalorian and think about how perfect that would be for a game, and you're absolutely right. If they don't do it, it's absolutely criminal.
It'd be cool, either era, prequel era or original trilogy.
Any era, so cool. And where you could create your own bounty hunter. Yeah, I would make my bounty hunter look like I would call my bounty hunter Zod, and I would make him look like Guido from the original trilogy. I love that alien, and I would put him in all Mandalore armor. And I would have all the it would be so much fun. It would be so much fun.
And then the markings you can get from doing feats, it'd make everyone look unique at least. It'd be really cool.
Almost and not only that, they could do. I'll take it one step further. They could do the Mandalorian online.
Yeah,
like what you and your dad have been hyping up about DC Universe and stuff, where we're all going to get together and do that. The idea that you could take Mandalorian and do a similar thing in the Star Wars universe. I don't know if you recall, maybe this might have been, I don't know if this would have been before your time or not, but at one point they did have Star Wars Online, and it was a PC game where you could be in the Star Wars world. You create your own character, and you would interact with, original trilogy characters and prequel trilogy.
That was definitely born before my time. The only thing I know
I'm surprised that didn't take off bigger than it did at the time. I mean, it looked amazing, especially when you look at, for example, DC, like you said, and then of course, Star Trek Online is huge. I mean, in terms of being able to interact, open world and stories and all kinds of things. You create your own character, and you have your own ships, and you travel to
especially
different
with
planets.
today's consoles and graphics. Like, this game would look amazing, and open world, traveling from planet to planet. Like, I don't know if you've played like Destiny, like
yes,
flying in the ship and stuff. That'd be so cool.
I'm down 100%. Matt, maybe you, me, and a bunch of other people should get together and design this game.
Yes,
because I think this game would be fantastic, even if it was like a fan made game.
Yeah.
Because you could mod something like Destiny or some other games to be, Star Wars, to be the Mandalorian. But I don't think we'll have to. I think that would be I think that's like a no-brainer for Electronic Arts at this point.
I'm hoping it comes, because if it doesn't, that's a missed opportunity. I'm pretty sure their contract's coming to an end unless they renew it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. It would be so cool, just because you could do traits, like you could be like mainly gadgets, mainly weapons specialists or whatever, and you can create your character before, like customize them a little bit.
I mean, and it would be great if it would have like a level where you could go into like these like seedy establishments like Mos Eisley, and you could participate in like the fights. Like, where they had like the two Gamorrean guards fighting.
Oh yeah.
In the first episode of season 2, and you could actually participate in that or bet on that to get money for upgrades and different things. I mean, my God, there's so many possibilities that
upgrading your suit, upgrading the ship, just in everything, man. It'd be so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, one thing I don't like though about PlayStation 5 is I hope that that's not the logo that they use for the games, for just the plain white.
Oh yeah,
it looks so generic, doesn't it? It's almost as bad as like, the Windows logo you see above PC games. Where they put the Windows logo up in white with the white background. I mean, it's like, talk about boring. I mean,
and one thing that I'm upset with PlayStation about, it's for my Call of Duty game, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War that I play. Like, where's the? Let me share the article. Let me show that real quick. Let's see. Application window. Oh, Chrome tab. There we go. Is it sharing? Yeah, it's sharing. Okay. So they're going exclusive crazy with this game now, because I guess their contract's almost up. Like, they're making it to where, like, this stuff is minor stuff, like double XP if you're on PlayStation, PlayStation Party bonus. You get like 2 extra loadouts if you're playing on PlayStation. Battle passes, like you get more for what you pay. Like, if you pay the $20, you get 5 additional tier skips rather than just a few less. But the thing that bothers me the most with this whole thing is that the PlayStation the PlayStation exclusive benefit is until November 1st, 2021, and that's with an exclusive mode, Zombies Onslaught. That's an exclusive mode that only PlayStation people can play. No one else can play it until November 1st, 2021.
Wow.
And I have a big issue with that, because that sucks. That's a lot of content that a lot of other people that aren't on PlayStation are missing out on. That's
exactly. And I'll never understand why a lot of these games nowadays are not straight up cross-platform. Everything should be cross-platform now. Because the technology is out there. It shouldn't be a problem, really. It's just a matter of connecting to a server. It shouldn't matter what console or computer you're using to do it. And You
I mean,
know, maybe back in the early days, I could, when the internet was something new, I could see it being an issue, but not now. When these consoles and computers cost as much as car payments, it's not. It's ridiculous.
And yeah, it just sucks because people have to wait till next year. No one's gonna be playing this game next year trying to see what it's like. Everyone's just gonna be watching YouTube videos to see what it's like or play on their friend's console.
A lot of and that's the thing. A lot of these games, like I'll be a little bit curious, but unless it's a franchise that I love playing, if it's a game that's got like a huge cinematic story mode, bro, I'll just watch it on YouTube. Get the story and enjoy it. Watch it on YouTube incrementally, and that'll be it. I'm not gonna spend money on it unless I know it's something that I'm really gonna play and really gonna get some use out of. Because a lot of these games, it's cool that they're cinematics, but when people put the movie up on YouTube, you're just I'll just watch that. What's the difference?
Yeah. That's what I do with most just campaign story only games. Like, because I'm not really a big campaign guy. I just kind of like watching other people do it. Unless they make a stupid decision, then I want to make it my own.
Like I was super hyped up a couple of years ago when they came out when this indie company came out with this Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah.
Where you could play you could be as counselors and you could be as Jason Voorhees. But the funny part about the game was when it first launched, there was no offline mode. So you had to be online to play it. And a lot of times it was random who was chosen to play as Jason.
Yeah.
And so a lot of you wouldn't know when you logged into the campaign whether or not you were going to be Jason or you were going to be a counselor. It was just completely random. And eventually they created like an offline mode where it isn't necessarily a story mode, but it's just an offline mode where you don't have to necessarily be online to play. And that's a lot of fun.
What I hate about that game is the slow pacing. You're just jogging, you're not running. I never really liked that. There was this other game recently that came out actually like last week. It's called In Silence. And it's like this monster is like blind or whatever, and it's only like really good on sound, and it's really fast, and you can be really fast too. And I like that so much more than I like the pacing of it at least because I don't know, just I hate the little jog that they do on Friday the 13th. I didn't think that was cool.
The jog. I agree with you on that. That is annoying. But one thing I did like about the game was how it did realistically have a lot of really great Friday the 13th style kills.
Oh yeah.
It was as far as that goes, it was cool. And like when you were playing as Jason, although I haven't figured out in the game how to play as anything but Jason offline. Offline, I feel like I'm stuck playing as Jason. I don't know how to play as the counselors. But I've noticed that like when you play as Jason in that game, the counselors are absolutely ruthless. They're the worst. It's like, I don't know. One day, what's the other game? What's the other game, Matt? There's another game like that where you can play as a
Dead by Daylight.
Yeah. How's that in comparison? Because I've never played that.
It's a cool game. I mean, it's the pacing of that one's pretty cool too because the running is a lot faster. And and I think you can hear this guy like it plays him like it's just like Jason. I think you can hear him coming. It plays like music or something. It's really cool. I just don't like the whole generator thing. I like being able to do different things. Like In Silence, it's like you just have to fix the car or you get the weapons out of this container and fight the monster. That's that. I mean, and that's pretty cool.
Okay.
I always have it as the AI because I like having it more as an unpredictable kind of thing because you don't know what the hell the AI hears everything. Apparently, it has like wall hacks and everything, but it's pretty fun.
Wow,
definitely pretty fun.
Yeah.
Let's share your article about the PS5. Let's see what's going on here. Let me bring it up. Chrome tab. There it is. Let's see. Is it shown? Yes, it's shown. All right. Where in the article was it?
It gets midway through the article. It starts to get really, really political, where they start complaining about
cutie with a booty. Standard place to provide cups an imposing figure with a bulbous shell protecting.
Yeah, it talks about all the specs, and then it gets really.
Well, sorry here. These specs, however, belie what the PlayStation 5 truly represents. It's almost 7 years since Sony released the original PlayStation 4, a platform not known for producing some really great games. It's true. That's true. But it's starting to show its age. More recent PlayStation 4 games, because the console OG and Pro alike, to wheeze and moan under the strain. It feels like developers have done all they can to wring every last drop of power out of the old girl before setting her out to the pasture. In many ways, the PlayStation 5 feels like a more significant upgrade from the PlayStation 4 than the PlayStation 4 did coming from the PS3, which is true. Especially for someone like me who never splurged on a PlayStation 4 Pro, my technological illiteracy kept me from getting too excited during lead system architect Mark Cerny's deep dive presentation on the PlayStation 5's innards. I still have no idea what a teraflop is, and I refuse to learn. But seeing the graphics of the Demon Souls remake and the snappy universe hopping mechanics of Ratchet and Clank rift apart in action quickly opened my mind to its possibilities. Sony provided me with a retail PlayStation 5 2 weeks ago. I've spent those 2 weeks playing Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Astro's Playroom, with some Bugsnax and Devil May Cry 5 on the side since they arrived a little late. I've transferred over my PlayStation 4 library and saves, the process for which was super easy, but the benefits for which remain hazy from the game to game. I've messed around as much as I can with its settings, trying to familiarize myself with copious cascading menus. I've also wondered if anyone even has the energy to care about, let alone the means to buy $500 electronics anymore. So, cutie with a booty. The standard PlayStation 5 cuts an imposing figure with a bulbous shell protecting its hefty bulk. Jeez. The disk drive creates an extra protrusion on the right or bottom of the console, depending on its placement, which ruins any chance at the wonderful symmetry of the digital edition. A sturdy plastic base is included as a way to facilitate both vertical and horizontal orientation. Neither side is perfectly flat. That sucks.
Yeah,
that's terrible. And setting up is quick enough if you consult the console's manual to find single screws secret hiding place. While the white plates have a matte finish, the black strip down the middle is glossy, which makes it a magnet for dust and lint. Over the course of the last couple of weeks, I've had to wipe it down what feels like a dozen times to keep it looking pristine. Though that might also be a result of my living in particularly dusty region of California, the power and eject buttons are small and out of the way, with faint markings indicating that which is which. I've already confused them several times. The overall design and size evoke comparisons to particularly fancy computer towers. It's not unwieldy as to completely dominate a room's aesthetics, but the PlayStation 5's hefty, lopsided figure also keeps it from entirely inconspicuous. If you're looking for a video game console that's going to blend into scenery, this is not it. Ooh. So that sounds terrible. I did not know it was lopsided if you have to lay it flat. I guess
that's horrible.
That sucks. And then it's collecting dust like crazy.
Yeah,
that's terrible. Wow. And then I also heard that I thought they were going to do this for like extra money. Like you can't take off the whites, the sides, and replace it with different colors or different designs. PlayStation has no intention on doing that, which is kind of weird.
Which is weird because that would actually open up a lot of great third-party options.
Yeah, yeah. And everyone would have like a unique looking console, at least with a stand. But so I guess that goes to show like this isn't even meant to lay flat. But you know, people are gonna be pretty upset about that. At least with the Xbox, you can throw it wherever since it's a rectangular box.
Yeah, yeah. The Xbox just looks like a fancy speaker.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I don't know if you've. I was gonna ask Max about this, but man, he's been playing Dirt 5 recently. That race car game. He got a key from that site he was telling us about, key.io. Yeah. Apparently, he's having issues with his controller rumble. It's not rumbling at all. He hit them up. It's like, hey,
I'm with you, man. I'm not really a fan of rumbling. I'm not really a fan of any of that stuff. I always, on my controller, I always turn it off because to me, it distracts you from the content.
Yeah. I mean, I mainly took it off because like my friends took it off, and like they say like, yeah, like your aim will be so much better if you take it off. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, I'll do it. And it's worked. It's been helping me so far. I'll do it if I'm like doing like a story based game, sure, just to be more immersed into the story. But other than that, don't really care.
Right.
And then I hear that the PS5 controller is supposed to be like even more immersive. Like we were saying last time in the podcast, if you're out of ammo, you're gonna feel like a clink or something. You're gonna feel like you're out of ammo on the controller. Just I don't know. That was interesting to me. Do you think you're gonna be playing with it like on all the settings with the DualSense PS5 controller if you had your hands on it?
I think so. I don't know. I like the look of the controller.
Yeah, it looks cool. I really
it
like
looks cool, but then again, there's a lot of controllers that look cool but play like crap. So,
yeah,
you know,
I agree. I'm very interested because I mean, like it's obviously the Xbox controller is the same as the old one, and it doesn't have. I don't think it has any new features other than the share button. So, like as far as like the evolution goes, I mean, this might be a hit or miss. Might be something. Might be the best controller. We don't know. That'd be really cool though. But yeah, anyways, yeah, Mad Max hit them up. He's like, "Hey, Dirt Game, really loving the game. Has anyone had issues with controller rumble? I am playing on my One X. Tried 2 different controllers and still no rumble or feedback. I checked the options on the settings and cannot get it to work. Any help would be appreciated." And they responded, which was really cool. That was really cool, and it's a fix that they're working on. Apparently, it's on select Xboxes or controllers that's happening on right now. And Mad Max just happened to be the unlucky few.
Just something else for him to be upset about.
Yeah,
I feel bad for our buddy Max. It's like he can't catch a break. It's like, because remember, he was all excited about these keys.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, this is going to be it. This is going to be the thing. And we're just like, yeah, okay, Max, that's cool, buddy.
Yeah, he was really looking forward to this game because he loves racing games, apparently, and he loves destruction. And, he doesn't have his controller vibration that he's always going off about. That right, sucks.
Right. And it's just kind of like, that's the thing, I remember like last week, our big discussion on like video game controllers. And for me, I'm like this, man, as long as the controller is functional and, it could do everything and there's no lags, there's no issues, I'm fine as long as it's a comfortable controller and, I mean, it's just a controller, but it's interesting. Have you saw the new skins for Spider-Man? Yeah.
Like have you seen the Spider-Verse skin from the movie?
Yeah,
that looked pretty cool. It's moving at 10 frames per second.
It's getting me to the point where I'm like, I was, how I was irritated about how they changed the look of Peter Parker, but ultimately, it's like the game is gonna look beautiful. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah, and apparently the PlayStation is like it's like really quiet when it's running this game, which is really cool.
Which is nice. Yeah.
I mean, like I definitely want to try the game. I mean, my brother's gonna get the PS5, so I'm not buying the PS5, but I'm definitely gonna try that game.
I would not buy a PS5. I don't want to be sleeping with one eye open. And my wife to stab me in my other eye for buying the PlayStation 5. I won't do it. The PlayStation 5 is one of those consoles that I'm kind of excited about, but then at the same time I'm a little bit it's kind of shaky. I'm like,
Yeah. It's just the exclusives, man. Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man. I mean, Demon Souls I hear looks really cool. I mean, I would definitely play that game. I haven't played Crash yet. I definitely want to try that out. It's just some of the old exclusives that they used to have. I definitely want to play Ratchet and Clank. Like that was a cool game when I played PS2. That was really awesome.
Yeah, and PS2, I've been having what I would consider to kind of be like a nostalgia fix on the PlayStation 2 because I've been doing that, cloud PC gaming.
Yeah.
And I got an emulator on there for PS2. And I've basically been like ripping my PlayStation 2 games and putting them on there so I could play PlayStation 2, and a lot of the game. I mean, it's so great to go back and play. PlayStation 2 was a hell of a system, man.
Oh yeah, it was an awesome system, man. That's when I got into Battlefront and whatnot. Like, those
Yeah,
were the coolest Battlefront games ever.
The Battlefront games for PlayStation 2 were amazing.
Yeah, I love the galactic conquest, going from like planet to planet or space battles, and you have to fight for this planet or whatever. It was so cool.
I mean, and it's amazing how like if you have Xbox, you can still play Battlefront 2.
Yeah,
or the original Battlefront, and it looks great. It's updated. It looks.
Yeah, I bought it on my.
How did they do that? I don't know.
Yeah. I bought it on my PC recently, and there's tons of mods to make the game even look better, or like have different cosmetics for your clone armor.
Where it almost looks as good as the modern Battlefront.
Yeah.
And that's not. And I got guys. That's not even an exaggeration. That's just the reality of the situation.
It's amazing what the modding community can do to keep the game alive after developers are done messing with it. Like, it's so cool. Like, I want that kind of passion in every gaming industry, you know? Like, I've always wondered, like, why haven't we haven't had like a community vote to where, like, you know, if you want content, like, you know, you ask the community what they want and they show you what they want and they submit their designs or their ideas or whatever, and you give back to them and like show their designs in the game, you know, just like have people vote on what they want. And if this is what they really want, then we're going to make it happen and we're going to put it in the game because, you know, we're here for you guys.
Absolutely. And you know what? I mean, you never know, but that could be the direction that we're heading in. I mean, when you look at how things are going as far as like TV shows and content and all that, looking at, you know, with these streaming services wanting to please consumers, you're seeing stuff that's coming out based off of nostalgia. Maybe that'll be a direction that they go in with video games, where it'll be about expanding the customer base based on what they want. So, you know, so like you say, like, for example, we want another season of the Arkham games. We want you to expand on the Arkham games. We want you to go back to the original Arkham game, update the graphics, and add a whole new scenario to it. I mean, who knows? Something like that could happen in the future, you know, because you're.
And also, like, submit other Batman skins. You know, like what does the community want as far as Batman skins? Because they released so many Batman skins in the Arkham universe. It's like, how come I can't have the old ones to this current game? You know, like, there's always new ones, and they're all really cool.
Right, and I say, like, for me, like when I play Injustice 2, I get excited because I can use the skins, you know, from you know, I can use Ben Affleck's Batman, you know, and be excited for that. Like in I think Injustice 1, you can even use Henry Cavill's Superman. Yeah. And you can, I mean, so that's, to me, that's the coolest thing in the world, to be able to change the skins of the character and reflect the version that you want to play as. That's
one thing, like, this game alone can do, is like you can submit like ship designs or even like character model designs.
Yes.
Like, it'd be so cool, like, because there's an endless amount of content, especially in the Star Wars universe, that you can do with the Mandalorian.
Yes, allow the consumer base to become creators.
Yes.
What's the game? Okay, isn't there a game on the Switch where you're able to basically create any games you want, or what's the game called?
That's on PlayStation. That's on
PlayStation.
Is it, what the hell was it called? I was telling my dad about it the other day.
It was called like Paint. Wasn't it like a Paint where you could basically design a game you want, and a bunch of people were designing Nintendo type games, and the games were getting taken down because a bunch of people were making like Mario games.
Oh, maybe it was the Switch. I have no idea. Because I know that there's a thing on the PlayStation.
I think it was on PlayStation. Yeah, it was called Dream. That's what it was. Yeah. That's what it was. You could create not Mario Paint, Ryan. No, but it was called Dream, and you could create like any game you want. Basically, they were basically making like modern versions of like Mario Kart and Mario 64 and that kind of stuff, and putting it on and having it on Dream, and you could go in and you could play, and Nintendo was getting upset and was like issuing cease and desist. It's like, look, man, if I have the ability to create these games, leave me alone. This is creativity. What are you doing? Like, leave me alone. So what? So what if it's on PlayStation? Get a version of Dream for the Switch.
Yeah.
No, you should be celebrating this kind of creativity.
I also saw on Dream someone made a Halo for PlayStation.
Yeah,
and it looked really freaking good. I was like, wow. Like people are just like, there's a lot of creative people out there that aren't making games or like doing any of that kind of stuff. They just kind of play. But I feel like if you get them more involved, you can have a more like just like there's another level that you can put onto this game if you actually have your consumers involved with the creativity.
I think, the Mandalorian, you're absolutely right. That would be beyond. That would just be beyond awesome, especially with all the features and things that we've been discussing here today. I mean, an idea of like an open world and like trying to make it possible to explore all these different characters. It would be what Star Wars Online was supposed to be. Because now you have the ability to do it. You have the graphics. You have the story ideas.
Yeah.
You have the fan base. I mean, it should be amazing. It should be amazing. Like
that's a game that can go on for years. Like for sure.
Yeah, season after season. But my thing is too. I wouldn't be surprised if some small company comes out with like a Mandalorian style like beat 'em up game, like like Final Fight, and you're just a Mandalorian and you're going around like, oh, where is he? Is he joining us?
Yeah.
Wow, there he is. What's up, man?
How's it going? How's it going?
Yeah, he needs to go online. The power is out.
You're in the dark. You're in the dark room. That looks awesome.
Yeah, no, I have everything turned over. I'm actually working on stuff, but yeah, no, it's a fun discussion that you guys are having. So I was like, man, gotta jump in here.
Yeah, the Mandalorian video game. Can you imagine if this actually happened? I know you'd buy it.
I want it. I want it now, man. It needs to come out today.
Yeah,
like this is like that's one of those games where when people say day one, that's exactly what they're talking about. Because essentially, you get something like that, you're going to be excited.
I'd be like, how do I kill baby Yoda?
That's what I'm wondering, because there would be people that would be trying to figure out ways, and if they're smart, they'll have ways in there for you to kill him.
Sure.
Yeah. That'd be cool. You can either kill him and get a lesser bounty, or bring him in alive, and it'll be a harder mission.
Oh yes,
that'd be so cool.
And then you'd have the whole thing where you could protect him, and then there'll be even deeper levels where you could betray him too if you want to. Ultimately get sick of them and be like, you know what, I'm gonna
kind of like Red Dead. Like you should be on a scale, like of how good you are, how bad you are. That there should be a whole scale for you.
Yeah. You have to complete certain bounties, and depending on how short a time frame it takes you to acquire your bounty is how much you rank up or whatever.
Oh my God, yes.
And then you could go against other players, or you could go against NPCs that are also bounty hunters that are also going after your target. As if it's where you not only have threats from other players, but you also have the actual story that's going on too. So sure.
So
people can put bounties on you.
Right? Yes, you see.
So it just makes it a little bit more interesting. You don't. It make it a little bit more of that Wild West feel, in that you don't really want to just kind of casually walk around. You probably want to sneak around, find kind of stay not hidden, but just not just flipping about. I'm just running through Tatooine or whatever. I gotta hang out inside maybe bars or different places like that.
I mean, could you imagine the things, the crazy stuff that would happen in like Mos Eisley and places like that. And like we were talking about earlier, how they could even have like a Fight Club mode where you could go in there and you could bet on, fights that are taking place, like the two Gamorrean guards in the first episode where they're fighting, and you could bet on them, and
Sure.
and if you win, you earn money, to build your armor or to buy more weapons or whatever. I mean,
they could have. Let's see. When I was younger, about maybe Matt's age, a couple years ago, I came up. I was coming up with ideas, for like a Star Wars game. I was like, something online, something interactive. Because back then it was like Star Wars Galaxies was the big thing, so I was like, what would it be if it was just open world Star Wars? I was like, dude, you could go and you can bet on like pod racing, events and things like that, or enter a pod racing event, to try to win extra money, or same thing with like those crazy horses from the sequel trilogy, or maybe speeder bike racing, or just other events, the Gamorrean Guard, arena, Rancor events, all kinds of different things that you could, get in there and sort of, wager money. That would be interesting. That'd be fun. That, I think that would be, hell, even Starfighter racing.
Almost in the way, like how it is with I don't know if you guys have ever played the Yakuza games, but like a similar concept where like the Yakuza games where there's always all kinds of like side games and missions you can have, where you can have little wagers, and different things that will represent all within like the context of the Star Wars universe. So yeah, those the little space horses. Oh, it'd be cool to like a mission would be you go and you have to blow up a stable of the space horses.
set them free to allow for PETA to come in. Congratulations.
And that would be a video game like that would be a good place for them to use that casino that they spent all that money on in The Last Jedi. There you go. In a video game setting, it could work.
You could totally do that. You could use you could use that environment that Jabba had at the pod racers,
the sail barge. Yeah, the sail barge.
The sail barge. I'm talking about the place from episode 1.
They
had the Bunta Eve. They could use that model. There's so that Star Wars has a vast arena of different places that you can find them in the comic books or even the regular books or whatever. But I mean, hell, just the movies alone, there are so many different places to use to model, to create, and then have different interactions. I mean, it's the limitation is only the company. So if it's EA Sports or whoever that is developing the game, the game is only limited to their own imagination. And if their imagination sucks, it's going to fail.
I think the best starting point for it would be either the prequels or earlier. Like I think the prequel era would be amazing because Mandalorian is in its prime. There's a lot more Mandalorians. It would help with the player base. There'd be a good reason to see like a lot more players like me out there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could also use post Rise of Skywalker. That way you don't have to use anything. That.
Well, we don't know how predominant they are yet, and plus, the Mandalorians.
Oh, in this after Rise of Skywalker,
we have no idea. They could be extinct because we haven't seen any of them.
I mean, hey, see, the thing about Mandalorians that we're finding out is that it's not so much a species or a race; it's a creed, and whoever follows that creed and keeps their helmet on, apparently, they are now Mandalorians.
I want to know. I want to know, like, how many of us would want to be Mandalorians and Sith, or Mandalorians and Jedi? Would we have the ability to have force powers, almost like how the Jedi Academy PC game? You're able to be a force user, and you can customize your lightsabers. You can be evil. You can be for the side of light. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Would that? I mean, would an option like that be cool for this Mandalorian game? I think
it'd be cool to have like a gadget. I don't know if you remember Battlefront 2, like with the commando that he shot.
I know where you're going. Yep.
I think that'd be a cool gadget to have, like if you're a Mandalorian, to be able to fight against or use force powers or whatever.
Force powers, right?
Yeah,
but would you actually? But my thing is, would you actually have the ability to have force powers?
He'd be overpowered, man.
yeah. But that's the thing. That's the thing, though. It'd be all. It would be all custom, and you could design, you could create however you wanted.
Only if there's a balance somehow. They set up some sort of balance in the game to where, like, if you kind of like a slider. If you're really proficient here, then obviously some of these other areas you're going to be less proficient in. So maybe
it should be like a skill tree.
Depends on a skill tree pretty much. And the skill tree, you wouldn't be able. It's kind of like the DCO game. You wouldn't be able to just put skill tree in everything.
Yeah, you can't have.
You have to put it into this. Like, I want to be a smuggler. I want to be the best starfighter pilot. I want to be the best. Non-force user, and you could be really proficient in that category, but then really horrible in force abilities and everything like that.
There you go.
I'd be horrible at smuggling or starfighter ability or whatever it is. Even though most starfighter pilots that are Jedi are really good or whatever. But I mean, for the sake of a game, you would need to have some sort of
there would be some balances. You'd have advantages, disadvantages.
And I would make it to where it's fluid. You could, if you no longer want to be a Jedi, then you could do like the whole Luke Skywalker thing where, I don't care about Luke.
Or you could become like a gray Jedi. You could become a gray Jedi.
Sure.
Or at any point in the game, you could turn to the Sith. You could do all kinds.
You could turn to the dark side. And what I thought was really cool with the game I was developing, I was like, you know what? The higher echelon that you get in the dark side, the more that the higher ranked you are in the game, would give you like a certain tier, and different Sith or different dark Jedi could challenge you to earn like the cred that you already have. You go back to I don't want to say 0, but I mean you go back down a peg, or y'all switch spots. And the master becomes the apprentice or whatever it is, and then that's how you progress in the dark side. You challenge, in order to do, to get further, you challenge, dark side force users, and the more that you take out, the higher ranked you are in the dark side.
Yes. Sounds amazing. We should all develop this game because honestly, I honestly, it's like a game like this is exactly what we need as Star Wars fans. If you want to, if they really want to bridge the gap and heal the divide amongst the Star Wars fan base, a game like this could bring everybody together. I mean, I keep thinking about the way you guys were talking about, and I mentioned this earlier, the way you guys are talking about DC Universe and all the cool things. There's so many elements from a game like that would work and port over perfectly to a Mandalorian Star Wars game that allow you to just do so many things. I mean, and the fact is all these characters and species and creeds all exist within the Star Wars universe. So you could do anything like that. You could be anything you want to. And that's one of the areas where I think the Battlefront games really, really lack. They don't allow enough. They don't allow enough. They don't allow enough, and they don't give you enough ability to do your own thing and create your own mark on the Star Wars universe.
See, the way that I would have handled that is I would have made it to where Battlefront is sort of your introduction into the game, kind of like with this thing that they just had the squadron. Where you have to play NPC, or you have to play NPCs first before you can join the online community.
Well, I'm thinking this. Like, you're on this planet, you have to complete all these missions to get a ship to get off this planet to meet up with everyone else on Mandalore or whatever.
You could do that, but you're
that would be the training map or whatever.
You're thinking Mandalorian game only. I'm thinking the greater Star, like a Star Wars online game.
Stuck on a planet. Period. Just stuck on a planet. You got to get out of the planet.
So what I would do, how I would do it is I would make it to where you start off with fighting the missions, basically you start off the game playing Battlefront or Battlefront 2. And then, after you get to a certain tier and you get a ship or whatever, or however high ranked you get in either the Rebellion or the Empire or First Order or whatever the hell you want to call it.
But the idea is you'd be able to choose any era you want
to kind of like Han Solo. Think about Han Solo. So he started off in the Navy, and then he moved up, or he moved down, I guess, into infantry, and then after that, he went off and did his own thing as a smuggler. So after you reach a certain point in the game, you're given an option. You can either continue, your career as a soldier and sort of build yourself in the ranks, and sort of, have, let's say you want to be an officer in a Death Star or an officer in a Star Destroyer or whatever, and that's what you want to command. Well, you have the option to do so, or you can just be a career pilot and sort of be like on a kind of like the Death Troopers. You could become a Death Trooper, and then you have those types of missions that you have to go on. Or same thing, with the light side. You become a rebel, you become a general, you become a smuggler. You go do whatever the hell you want to do, and then you have that barometer, which the things that you do in your missions, how you complete them, sort of moves your morality either to the light side or to the dark side. And let's say that I start off the game as somebody who's loves the Empire, and I'm a stormtrooper. Well, let's just say I want to pull like a Finn, right? And I want to kind of maneuver my way over to the light side. Well, I've got to continue doing missions and making conscious decisions to do things that are good, and that'll move the barometer over to where I'm past the midpoint and I'm on the light side. Now I can leave the Empire and join the Resistance or Rebellion or whatever, and the same way, like if I start off as a rebel, I'm like, man, this really isn't for me. I'll start acting, my gameplay will turn into douchery. I'll act like an ass. I'll gain more, cred on the dark side. I'll
you'll start eating extinct eggs.
I'll turn people in. I'll pull a Lando, and then I'll eventually be able to, or allowed to get into that tier and start heading toward the Empire, the dark side, or something like that. So your gameplay consists of the choices that you make in the game, but it's not so much the choices that you make like how they did. What was that one game where you have? It was I think it was with Starkiller, where you
Force Unleashed.
Yeah. So it would be kind of like that, but not really. It wouldn't be those kind of choices. It would just be like do I shoot my own crew? Do I set people up? It'd be a little bit different, and I think that would make it stand out a little bit more in the game, and I think that would be a big pull. I would take the best of every Star Wars game and put it into this. I'd take the Star Wars Squadrons. I'd take the Battlefront. I'd take the Pod Racer game. I'd take Star Wars Galaxies. I'd mesh it into one.
Now, Ryan, do you remember? Because I mentioned this to Matt earlier, and I know this was before Matt's time, but do you remember Star Wars Online?
Star Wars Galaxies.
They kind of tried. They tried to.
Yeah, I mean, it lasted for, I believe, 9 years, and then they finally stopped supporting it. And I never played it, but I always watched it, and I was like, what? That's such a great concept. And then they did the same thing with the DCUO game, and I was like, well, if Star Wars isn't going to do it, I'm also a fan of DC. I'm just going to do this on DC. And there's still what they're doing now to keep the lights on over at the was it Daybreak? They are taking donations, crowdfunding kind of donations from the community to still keep their people employed. And I think that's a great concept. Like, if you build a community and the community wants to continue playing the game, they choose to donate to the developer team, and then that way they can still employ people to come up with new content and to continue supporting the game. And I think that's a novel idea.
Oh yeah,
that's a great idea, but I'd also like the community to give their ideas out there for them.
Oh yeah, and for a while they did that, with you, yeah. I mean, I spoke with the developers and I was helping them with coming up with new content and things like that. And I was this close to having a meeting with them, and then certain things happened, in personal life, and that just kind of halted and went away. But I mean, I'm a creative kind of guy, and and I see something and I'm like, how can you make it better? I look at that in video games and film and TV and any sort of, you know, form of entertainment or media. I'm like, that's a great concept. I like what you did there, but it could have been better if you did it this way. And then, you know, of course, that's just my opinion, but, you know, I mean, if other people agree with it, and I put it out there, you know, I put it out there for the community to scrutinize or to get behind, and, you know, if they got behind it, then awesome. You know, you get enough people behind you, the developers, you know, kind of turn their eye and say, hey, there might be something to this. Let's
exactly
what's going on here. So yeah, I completely agree. I think you should have the game. I think you should have the game have a forum for people to come in and not just gripe about the game, like, oh, hey, you know, this mechanism is messed up or whatever. You know, there should be people that, you know, let you know that there are glitches or there are things, you know, that need to be fixed. But also there needs to be some form of communication back and forth, developer to the community, the people playing the game, to work on the game and to refine it and make it the best game, best experience that they can.
Yeah.
And that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, that'd be really freaking cool, man. Especially with today's graphics, instead of, like, you know, what the older public's doing. With
today's teraflops, there's no
teraflops. Yeah. This would be the only game you can have on that console.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind a Star Wars video game console that's in like that's shaped like a TIE fighter or something. And,
oh my god!
I mean,
well, see, what I was proposing, and Matt knows this, is I was proposing that you have a projector and a dome. But the dome is like maybe not a half dome, but maybe like a 3/4 dome, where you only have one third of the dome is in front of you, and then you have a projector either above or below you projecting onto the screen, and you're sort of immersed into the game. And the system itself is proprietary, so it's only going to play the one game for you. You can hook up other systems to the screen, but the whole console that you're putting together or whatever has a unit, and the unit is connected directly to the server, you know, that you're playing on, so that you don't have to worry about going through the PlayStation network. You don't have to worry about going through the Xbox, you know, network or anything like that. You connect directly to EA, or I'm assuming because they still have the rights to it. You connect to their server directly on a server that is solely running this particular game. So therefore, there's no outside interference. Everybody has the best communications, best connection, and you have a system that you can download that has, you know, great storage capability because of all the maps, because of all the different style types, because of all the different starfighters, because of all the different levels, because of all the different mechanics in the gameplay. You have everything that you can store onto the unit, and you don't have to worry about, you know, purchasing, you know, this, you know, or purchasing or worried about, like, I'm downloading, you know, whatever. The unit itself is your game, and you connect up your whole console. You can use, you know, joysticks. You can use anything you want. It's just, it connects to that unit, and there you go. That's it. It's the Star Wars game unit, and that's it. Or it's the DC UO unit or whatever, and that's it. I know that some people wouldn't like that because they just like, oh, it's something else for me to buy. But in the long run, if you're a gamer that sees this as an investment, you know, in your time, because I mean, time's very, very, very expensive. You know, I mean, you can't get time back. So if you're going to invest all that time in something like that, I would say, hey, this is something that a hardcore gamer, a hardcore Star Wars fan would definitely be interested in.
Oh, absolutely. And I think being, you know, catering to that specific genre and doing something specific like that, I'm really surprised it hasn't happened, to be honest with you. Because I mean, think about it. You have that, and you're developing for that as a console, and it's just like you're paying. So you would basically be paying a monthly fee, like you'd pay for like PlayStation Online, PlayStation Plus, or whatever.
But you pay the developers directly.
But you're paying the developers, so you're getting different games. You'd be getting, so you'd have like your Battlefront, and you'd have your Mandalorian game. You'd have access to any Star Wars games you wanted to play on this console. That'd be fantastic.
The thing is that you would be able to, it would be interconnected. Yes. In that you have a character, and the character is what plays Battlefront. The character is what plays the pod racing game. The character is what plays, Jedi Power Battles or whatever. And you always have that avatar, and the avatar sort of goes through these different scenarios or different experiences. And you have a main account that tracks all of the progress that you've made on any game. And I think that would be amazing. Yeah,
I agree. Wow. and make it so the console would be like in the shape of a Death Star.
Oh, you can make it in the shape of anything. I mean, the shape of the console it would be. I mean, you would have stuff that is just maybe a box that has sort of etching on it, or maybe you have something that's in the shape of a Death Star, or maybe you have something that's in the shape of a TIE fighter, or whatever. Yeah,
I think a TIE fighter would be awesome. Like a TIE fighter on like a stand, and you just plug your controllers into it.
Is the wings, and then your console is right there in the middle, and it's being cooled because it's not sitting on a desk; it's in the air, and it's being cooled, and it doesn't really get overheated in that way. And you can add fans and whatever to it.
Excellent idea, Ryan. I'm on board. Totally on board.
Yeah, so crowdfunding starts. You can join our Patreon.
Right.
And the minute I get over $1 million on Patreon, then I'll start developing.
We'll consider. But yeah, that'd be really cool, man. It's like I always wonder where these ideas are in like the gaming developers. Like just it doesn't make any sense. It's crazy how much we can come up with rather than someone else that's actually in the industry.
Sure. I agree.
Man. So on that note, we're gonna end off here.
A lot of great discussion on today's show, though. I mean, really, I love this show. It's so much fun to talk about.
Even though we're missing Max, I don't know where the hell Max is.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him today. I'm just like, whoa, because it's not like Max to miss. So.
Yeah. He's missing the helmet or mask apparently. So no idea.
Well, I'm glad I could take his place for now.
Yeah. I'm glad you were camping out.
Excellent discussion. Yes.
Actually, I didn't even know you were streaming.
I told him because he wanted to have a meeting, Matt, and I'm like, I'm on a podcast with your son.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, after you waste your time.
And then after he told me, he's like, these are some great ideas. Like, let me get it.
Right. He's like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, wow.
Yeah. After we're talking up a storm, I was like, I can't miss out on this. So, it was cool. It's real cool.
All right. Awesome. Let's see. Hold up. Take care, lads. I'll make sure I don't miss the next one. Yes, sir. I'll make sure I'll tweet everyone out and have enough retweets so it makes it to you on Twitter.
And everybody gives Max a hard time for missing out on this episode.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, this is fun because this is one of the best episodes we had.
He missed out. Max wasn't even on. He's going to be so upset. That's going to be funny. All right. Anyways. Please subscribe to the Zod Rider Show. He's over 100. Let's get him to a 200.
Yeah.
Let's get up there.
Thank you. Subscribe to Mad Max Viz, and of course, subscribe to Zeverfett.
Yep. Yes. Check out our review on the Mandalorian on Zeverfett channel. He's right over there.
Oh. I know for a filler episode, we talked about it a lot.
Hey, we need those. We need that. We need to get in the algorithm. We need to keep talking about it.
Yeah, we need that algorithm. Kathleen Kennedy.
Boba Fett, John Favreau. All right, that's it.
Dave Filoni.
Did you guys catch the Luke Skywalker reference in Mandalorian in the first episode of season 2?
On the first episode.
Did you guys catch the Luke Skywalker reference? There was a scene inside where they were doing the flashback where they were showing how different systems were celebrating after the Emperor was defeated, and they showed the Empire. There's writing underneath and that writing translated into English is part of the opening crawl to Return of the Jedi, and they specifically mention Luke Skywalker.
I did not know that.
Oh wow!
I saw the writing, but I didn't know what it translated to.
Kathleen Kennedy must not have known that they put that in there.
Yeah.
That was once again that was a nod to those of us that love the original trilogy.
Well, that's good. Yeah. At least they acknowledge the world, the universe. So that's awesome. Yeah, I did see the text. I just didn't know what it translated to.
It translates to the I think like the second paragraph of the opening crawl to Return of the Jedi.
That's really cool.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, we didn't catch that Easter egg. We're gonna have to make a whole video on it now to make.
Hey, I'm keeping my eyes out. This show is fantastic. I love it. So,
all right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We hope to catch y'all next week on Mad Max's channel. If he's around. If not, we'll be here. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Catch y'all next
everyone.